In this module, we continue our journey around, the evolution between luxury and how is incorporating the concept of sustainability and how luxury and sustainability that apparently used to see used to seem two concepts not so much related to each other. They are actually more and more integrating. They are getting two concepts more and more interrelated, and also in fashion, at least in one part of fashion, or the part of fashion that is closer to luxury. With the third module of this series of models, we will also analyze how the some made in Italy with tradition, some family business are actually moving exactly in this direction to incorporate the concept of luxury and sustainability. But let's start first with various interpretation of sustainability between organization. Basically, this is the evolution. In the past, sustainability was seen as a cost. So basically, if you consider just shareholders, not stakeholders, so just who owns the stock and not just all the people who affect the community, basically, at the beginning, sustainability was a cost. Because the company had the objective, of profit maximization. So at the beginning, to give the possibility to worker to work in a safe place was a cost. To work with the most precious material was a cost. To be completely transparent was also a cost, and so basically led to less profit. So this was really years ago, but we went into an intermediate phase in which somebody started to see that sustainability could have become a competitive advantage. In this, of course, caring not only about the owners of your stock, but having a more multi-stakeholder approach. And so some organizations, not only luxury, they started to perform initiatives of creating value that were associated with the business and doing donation of money or sustainable campaign. But nevertheless, in many cases, I'd say in most cases, they were not integrated into a really business concept. That is the third level where you have a complete multi-stakeholder contextual, so they are all interrelated within each other. And the initiatives are directly linked with the core business. We will make an example in the following module in this course about example of organization that they were born with built-in, this concept built-in of sustainability, that they started from the beginning to promote this idea of quality, raw material, people dignity, and all this was not just added in the future because somebody perceived that it could have been a good, powerful, useful marketing tool, but because they were born with this sense of I have to create a shared value. I am in business not to make money and not even to use marketing tools, but I'm in business to create value for a community. Because basically, this is related to be in business because you are passionate about doing something, not just because you find an opportunity to make an economic profit. So this type of company think really that there are a sort of actions that are not done because this will allow the company to be more profitable, because they are built in their way of approach of the business. And basically, this kind of organization, they have really to combine the concept of an ethical, legal, profitable, responsible philosophy, all built in. Of course, we can make of Italian company example of companies that goes exactly on the other side of the economic result, that maybe they are too much passionate about an approach to society that then forgets the fact that the company has to be profitable. And so basically what they are is that following too much their passion, they, in the long run, they do not obtain economic results. Of course, the key element, once again, is to combine and not consider that these two things are, you know, impossible to reach together, to reach them together in the same time by organization. What are some of the positive actions that this company can achieve? Well, reduce pollution, reduce the consumption of resources, and this is what really luxury company or a few fashion in the luxury area can do, instead of increase the consumption, reduce, while of course using recycled material, producing smaller quantity that last longer, products that last longer, that offer services. In this way, also these other things are related, that the workplace are healthy and safe, that of course you promote the consumer's well-being, that the price, and this is very important, the price is not the price of extreme luxury. In fact, we observe that the sustainable luxury, it's most of the time not the super extreme luxury, where once again this is the idea we saw in the last module about individual perception of power of a product that can say, yes, I made it. But of course accessible prices, in the sense that of course they would be a little bit more expensive than the average of the market, but of course not so much more expensive. And then promote human and worker rights, create quality products that last longer, that are done and created with the ability, with the skills of course, skilled worker, and worker that are passionate and enthusiastic to produce this product. Of course, this is directly related to place the worker at the center of the project. They are crucial in Italian artisanal organizations. The people, the artisans that work with the hand are at the center of the project. And of course, we're not talking about top manager with a suit. We're talking people who work with their hands. The positive result, there are of course communities, best communities, cleaner environment, and possibly that is the result, happy and healthy workers and consumers. Let's see how we can shift this to textile and apparel, to fashion basically. Is it possible to obtain these results? Reduce pollution, consumption, keep working environment safe and healthy, promote well-being, all these things, all this result with, an environmental and people and society orientation, with a philosophy that promotes ethics and economic sustainability. It seems that we are close to it. In fact, if we analyze the response to the question, when do you think, when you hear the term fashion and sustainability, what we see the most used word? Upcycling, use organic material, use recycled materials, ethical working conditions, ethical pay. We think no more about, cool products or super made with super expensive fabric, but with recycling fabric. Recycling fabric doesn't mean that they are not good, not nice. Of course, it could be valued not just because they're super precious material, but with the work and the passion of people doing it. And of course, this, if you have an ethical working conditions and an ethical pay, it is possible. Otherwise, it will be really, 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 really difficult. this is an example of how this new model for responsibility, is working in for fashion. So basically, is working because a lot of companies are understanding that they have to connect the fashion product with artistic, cultural, art, culture, and territory, with not just a product, but with a movement that promotes an area, a movement that promotes the fact that what the product is just the last element, but what is beyond it is way, way more than that. So basically, in other way, is fashion moving towards the integration with these three elements that this is the center. So aesthetics, because that's part. Aesthetics not necessarily is so expensive. We have been thinking in many years that the nice things were the most expensive. No, the aesthetic can be balanced with ethics and with economics. Of course, if you have to care about economics, you have to make a profit. So if there is a lot of work and paid people, you cannot sell your product for a very, very low price. But of course, even the balance, it means that you don't have to take advantage of the fact that you are a brand famous and manufacture in places where the people are low paid and make a lot of profit. This is the integration between these three elements. So the responsible fashion company is direction, integration between ethics and aesthetics with a view of economics. So we may see that there are a lot of large corporations that care more about this and a little bit about this, and there is small organizations, especially in Italy, that care about this ethics, care about this aesthetics, but actually they cannot obtain economic results that make them do not make an impediment of growth, an impediment of expansion. And this is also, of course, not so positive, is the balance and integration of this. So keeping attention to the culture, the art, and the territory, and promote products that are really a combination between all these elements. Today, the design work is moving beyond the concept of not just form, function, and style, not just a shape, not just the aesthetic, but they have to address difficult societal challenges. And this, can be done in different ways. Just let me show you some example of how this can be done. For instance, it can be done because you use particular material. In the third on the right, in this image, we see orange fiber. You have the case in most of your material. It is an Italian company that came to speak, even in Italy, many times. I heard the owner. They found out how to produce a textile with the waste of oranges. So they started with an idea. They wanted to avoid this problem that was the waste of orange in a country, in a region of Italy, Sicily, where there is this problem. In fact, they are born from that particular area. And they actually were able to work with companies like Ferragamo. They were able to sell their textile to Ferragamo, and this textile is completely made naturally. It's not only is not consuming new products, but is actually taking care of a problem that is the waste of a product that actually, is in one specific region of Sicily. And so these are other examples: vegan, silk, created products. These all have the same element. They start with an idea that there is a social problem, but in the same time, I can do products that are aesthetically pleasing. So they are nice to be seen. It's not just vegan or orange products. They're good for the society, but not so nice looking. Yes, they do not cost so much money. Yes, maybe a premium price, but a bit. They are made of natural 100% products, and at the same time are aesthetically pleasing. This is really the combination of all these elements that are necessary for this new business model of luxury, fashion, and sustainability.